I feel like the CALP project since day one has provided a really inclusive and supportive space. I have a math background and I was kind of scared that because I don't have a climate related formal education background, I would feel a bit like an imposter, or like I wouldn't know so much about the topics. But honestly, since I started working with the other camps, they've really been incredibly accommodating, and I feel like what actually makes it stronger is the diversity of experiences and backgrounds we all have, and being able to combine all our different ideas and all our different skills into one common goal of empowering students and community members to take climate action. It's just an incredibly powerful and rewarding experience.
Regarding inclusivity, I think that being with people who share the same values as me and who are like-minded people really helped me feel confident for my first professional experience to share my perspectives, despite the fact that I had not a lot of experience, and I've really felt that I could still speak in meetings or to express my ideas. So I think it's more related to the people. And regarding engagement with university life, I think as an exchange student, I did not know anything about UBC, and CAM really helped me to connect, at least know what campus groups are working on the issues that I'm interested in, so climate justice, social justice issues. And I think that in a university that is so as big as UBC, this was really, really nice. Also know which teachers, which course, when we were searching for panelists, really helped me to know better the campus and also navigate better according to my interests.
As a program assistant working in collaboration with the CAM team, I was able to bring my own ideas and be inspired by the team further through the research process, connecting with other faculties at UBC and just the wider Vancouver community. So with an interest in anti-racism and everything that has to do with diversity, equity, and inclusion, I was able to bring in my past experiences and learn how to move forward. And so what happened is I came up with a few ideas, consulted the team, we went back and forth between the event name, the event structure, and we ended up coming up with a plan that exceeded my expectations going into the project. So we had a panel discussion, we had a community activity, and from the event we were able to have students connect us to further places in Vancouver that, again, I hadn't even thought about. And throughout the whole process, I felt supported by the CAMs, respected, and they've honestly pushed me to do more in the anti-racism field. I'm hoping that CCEL continues to grow with these programs, and I'm looking forward to see the work that gets done.
So being part of the CAM project has allowed me to translate all this policy knowledge and big level stuff into actually how do we talk to our community members about not only how they can get involved, but what their inspirations, what their hopes are within their own neighborhoods. Because we know these big level things like decarbonization, the just transition, active transportation, but when you try and actually put it into what are people passionate about, what are their talents, what are their skills, what do they want to learn, and who do they know in their community right now, and who can they get to build relationships with. It's really important thinking about the people, not just the infrastructure, but the people, the communities that you're going to build and going to encounter along the way.
I'd say the biggest skills I have learned through CAM are just facilitation skills. I got a lot of opportunities to engage with different people, so from high schoolers to seniors to even just UBC students, and it made me a lot more confident adapting content to all those different audiences.
One way that the CAM project has helped me is I've built skills in project management and coordination. I've managed to work together with community members to ideate an idea and work with them to bring it to life and to refine it throughout each stage and to really just listen to their needs and wants and figure out how to incorporate that into a final project. I also had the opportunity to ideate and create my own events, and I learned a lot about project planning, project management, how to deal with hiccups and a diversity of opinions, and that was really valuable. So most of all, the CAM project has really helped to push me to think of more tangible solutions to climate action. and really ideating and creating events that go just beyond awareness raising, which I so often find myself attending such events at university, which are good, but don't really get at that need to do something more tangible and to make an actual impact, either at the community level or on campus. And the CAMP project really got me to think about how to impact behaviors and lifestyles and worldviews, from growing your own microgreens to coming up with a community action plan, to collating all the assets that a community has and figuring out how to mobilize that in a time of disaster and just like stimulating that and working through it and really just really tangible solutions, tangible actions is something that the CAMP project has really pushed me to try and achieve.
I think I've definitely gained strong facilitation and project organizational skills through our various workshops and events trying to engage community members and students. At many of our events, a lot of the CAMs are put into facilitation roles where we have to be comfortable speaking about various topics in front of our participants, and even before that process, a lot of work goes into our actual project planning and running meetings, being able to coordinate with each other and just ideate different projects.
I think having each workshop being tailored to what community needs and what the issues they're struggling really helps me to immerse myself into getting to know each community and their diverse characters. For example, for Raising Marple Voices, I remember having to do extensive research on the neighborhood and its demographics, as well as understanding how different its building structures, its facilities around the Marple neighborhood can lead to different statistics, and that really helped me as a primer to understand why homelessness exists in Marple in the first place and why these percentages are that high. I also learned through facilitation and facilitating with different community members. I remember being in a roundtable as well in Marple Voices and Raising Marple Voices, where I really got to know each community member, where using different facilitation questions and bringing out different voices through whether it be icebreaking questions or it be specific questions tailored to giving care and things like preparing for the cold weather. I think that can really put the community together and also make them speak out more into addressing things that they personally are struggling through climate change and how specific government mandates are not specifically effective in addressing their needs, and how we can help out at CCEL in providing the resources.
Yeah, so one of the things that we work on here at CCEL is this concept of asset-based community development. And what it's based off of is pretty much, hey, you're coming to the table, you're very passionate, you're very engaged, but you might not always recognize the skills and the talents that you're bringing, the lived experience that you have, and how that influences what you want to see, the change that you want to see in the world. That's on the one hand, but on the other hand, you have to also recognize that you're not in this alone. You're not going to create this change alone. Not that you're not capable, you're totally amazing, but you don't have to feel like you're alone in this. So just creating those communities of care, recognizing where your passions intersect with your talents and other people's talents, where you can learn from others. That's something that I've really taken to heart with the folks I've worked with.
First, it has helped me connect with people from different backgrounds, people that have different experiences. So for example, in our IBPOC event, hearing from people that were displaced because of climate events and hearing how it's been for them adapting to people or connecting to different people. That's something I didn't have experience with before. And another example is with our Cool Hood Champ event. I had never done any events with seniors, and it was very interesting engaging with people that had been living in a community for so many decades, hearing their perspectives on what needed to happen, but also realizing they didn't know a lot of the resources that were available to them and being able to share that with them. It was a very interesting dynamic.
So through the CAM experience, I had the opportunity to work alongside a lot of different community partners, and it's really a lot about coming into the community because you were invited into the community and really listening to what the community needs and what they want. And so it's always starting with at the community level first and what they need and what they want, and putting their vision first and really understanding all the assets they have and that they bring to the table, and really understanding that you're doing this with and for them, and you're not just coming in and imposing your own ideas. I also had the opportunity to engage with a number of diverse people and communities through all the facilitation I undertook through the CAM experience. For example, we did Raising Marpole Voices, which was a community conversation on homelessness in Marpole. We did Mapping Community Resilience, which engaged a lot of Vancouver's West Side communities, and also the Cool Hood Champs series, which we did a lot of workshops in different areas in Vancouver, such as Mount Pleasant, Trout Lake, and Little Mountain, among many others. So through all of these different events, I listened to many different people from different backgrounds, and I brought them into conversation with one another and tried to unite them in their mission to achieve climate action. And in this experience, I had to navigate a diversity of opinions and experiences and ideas, and try and make a cohesive group and experience, and these are skills that I will keep with me for the rest of my life.
I think in the past, all of my previous work experience through clubs and other positions with the school has been mainly focused on engaging with students, maybe a lot of people younger than me, but through our events I've had a lot of experience facilitating and being engaged with a lot of different communities, whether that's older participants. Specifically with our IBPOC event, it was a really good privilege to see a lot of different perspectives, maybe that I hadn't considered before or that weren't necessarily my own, all coming together.
The CAM experience taught me a lot about the research process and how it's important to learn about communities before going in with assumptions on what they need, but truly having conversations with the people that you're trying to engage with and learn about, their perspectives. Specifically with IBPOC Voices, I learned to connect with people from diverse backgrounds, and I myself, as a BIPOC person, came in with assumptions that I then had to unlearn. And so having these conversations taught me a lot how to move forward.
I think each workshop allowed me to really step back and allow each community member to really speak out what they need, and also allow each community members themselves to communicate with each other, and fostering this source of community engagement with each other. I think through different takeaway activities or little actions, like building a little microgreens garden while talking about ways to actually address food insecurity, and also things like climate change around campus, as well as the star constellation that is in the anti-racism event, really allows each other to not really sit there and trying to listen to panelists or different professions talk about their knowledge, but also acts as a different building block and acts as a way to really engage with the community, and also do concrete actions as a way to address their problems or connect to each other, and kind of bringing a really concrete on-the-ground change in community engagement.
When we're working towards this thing called civic engagement, getting to know your city, your community, and how you can not just get involved in this abstract sense, but feel like you're actually being heard within your community, that you're able to make decisions and create change. That's one of the large things that I've always been a part of throughout my career, even before CAM, but trying to figure out how you talk to folks and how you get them to understand, where you're coming from, your own positionality, and why a certain issue, say within climate action or climate justice, why certain issues matter to you. Learning how to have those conversations is definitely a key skill that I've learned, but also bringing your whole self into whatever you're working on. I had the pleasure to work with Gankel with the climate, or celebrating IBPOC Voices in Youth Climate Action event, and just getting to know not only these individuals and their stories, why they got involved, but bringing together this community of, you know, passionate students who want to work towards climate action and climate justice here at UBC, who are at various stages just trying to find their way. It was really fulfilling just to be a part of it and to see where everyone was at their journeys, because as I told lots of folks back when we were still planning the event, this is the kind of event, or the event that I wanted to see, and the one that transpired was the kind of event I wanted to see when I was in first year. And I'm so glad that so many students got that opportunity to take part and to just, learn from each other.
I think the biggest thing is CAM has motivated me to do more. So do more on campus, do more in Vancouver, but also do more back home. I moved to Portugal during COVID, and learning through the CAM project how to engage with people, how to go out and talk to community members has really inspired me to do more action there. Now when I go home, I'm much more comfortable doing that kind of work. I actually started a startup while I was on co-op here at CCEL as well, and now that I'm a CAM, I can see how being a co-op and now a work learn, so much of that work has translated a lot beyond the office. It has also just made me more confident overall as a person, you know, knowing my teammates trust me, my supervisor trusts me. Being able to be a part of a team is really special, and this team really looks out for each other, and that's something that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life.
So through CAM, I was able to develop both my academic and my professional skills in the realm of climate action and community engagement. I was really privileged to have a lot of opportunities come out of working as a CAM. So for example, I was interviewed by the Sustainability Hub on my experience, and that was shared on their webpage. And from that, a professor at the Vancouver Island University invited me to speak to her class about my work with CAM. I also was invited to speak to the Peter Wall Catalyst Scholars of 2022-2023, who focus on the kind of nature and climate and the environment. So I had the opportunity to share my experience with them. And I also spoke at CALP's CASE microgreen certificate course, and shared a little bit about the work that the CAMs do there. And I also had the immense privilege and opportunity to be on the Climate Justice Advisory Committee, and focused on refining and working on UBC's climate justice vision, which was a really great opportunity to just figure out the bureaucratics of UBC and applying everything I'd learned in CAM to UBC's framework. So I have no doubt that all my experiences in CAM will serve me well for future positions in climate action and community engagement.
I think that the CAM project and being a part of this program as a whole has kind of brought to light a lot of different opportunities I wouldn't have really considered by myself. Pursuing graduate school wasn't really something I had considered before, but kind of through working at CCEL and as a part of the CAM project, I've realized what I want to do in the future, and that's really helped me narrow my focus into selecting a grad school and a program that I would like to be interested in, and that all stems from, I guess, the climate science piece that we work with a lot for the Cool Hood Champs workshop series, as well as our other events.
I was initially introduced to CCEL and the idea of community engagement when I was in first year, and having the summer and having second year being so much more immersed into the project of Climate Action Mobilizer within CCEL really allowed me to broaden my horizon into the attitudes that comes with community engagement. I think being involved in projects such as anti-racism and raising IBPOC voices, as well as the Raising Marple Voices event, truly allowed me to get connections to community partners, whether it be on and off campus, and as well as forming this attitude of ethically community engaging with them and truly knowing what they need and truly taking a step back to understand and address what they're targeting, what they're looking for. I think I have a really strong passion into social justice, and I think these events allowed me to find an intersection between social justice and climate action, and having these connections as a social asset, as well as learning and kind of developing the attitudes that comes with the idea of community engagement, allows me to pursue a major or pursue further education into ideas where I can ethically engage with community, in whether it be in a political science sense or in a sociology sense. As well, I think having this experience really allows me to have the proper attitude each time whenever I find the need to engage with a certain community or talk to different organizations on and off campus.
So the CALP project has always been about hands-on experiences, from engaging with community members and supporting them in building climate resilience, to interacting with students and hearing all about their ideas about how to tackle climate change. For example, through Cohort Champs, which was our series of workshops on building climate resilience with neighbours, we provided a space for them to develop these climate action projects, and supporting them along the way has been an incredibly rewarding experience, and it's really taught me that I truly want to work with community in the future, and it's really given me the tools, and I've developed the abilities to do that now. And then an event I especially enjoyed was Raising Marple Voices, which was a conversation on homelessness in South Vancouver and how to support folks who might experience homelessness in extreme weather events. It was incredible to have such a diversity of perspectives and different backgrounds in the room, and I feel like I learned so much more from talking to those people than I could ever from a classroom setting. So yeah, it really made me realize how powerful community engagement can be.
So I think first CAM really enabled me to understand better what it means to do community engaged learning. I had a few experiences before, but I think that was the really first experience where we go through the ethics of engaging with communities, and we actually do the work, and we have also the resources and the support to do it, and a big team with different perspectives. So it really helped me to first to know that it's something I like to do, so and that I want to continue in the future. So when I'll come back to France, I think I'll continue to get involved with communities in my university, but also to navigate my city differently, to know more that in my neighborhood there are many organizations that work on issues that I'm interested in, and this is something that I really discovered here. And then regarding my professional goals, I wanted to enter diplomacy, and by being a CAM, I think my experience as a CAM completely changed the way I think about scales of actions. And I'm going to enter urban planning, so yeah, it really changed how I see myself having an impact or being a change maker. So yeah.